Husks up, Utah Mammoth fans. Welcome into Utah Mammoth Daily. Well, that was one heck of a weekend. That was great. Beating a team that I didn't think Utah had a shot at beating in Dallas with a little bit of puck luck. It was nice to see puck luck go Utah's way for a change this season with John Marino's goal fluttering in over the head of Jake Ottinger. That was pretty funny. And then, and back in fourth game against Seattle, where early on it looked like Utah wasn't interested, and then they got that shorthanded goal, and then it was off to the races. So that was really cool to watch as well, the resilience of that team, because I firmly believe if this was 3 weeks ago, Utah would have collapsed in on itself like a tent without a tent pole. Like, this is a different team than it was 3 weeks ago. So, yes, awesome stuff this past weekend. I really liked what I saw. Seeing Nate Schmidt just getting a game that he's deserved pretty much all season. 4 points. First star of the game. Best interview of the season thus far. Narrowly beating out John Marino after his first star against Dallas. Those two interviews were awesome. John Marino's quote's going to live forever in Utah lore, I think. Shoot the puck. Puck goes in. It was fantastic. So this team is really coming together in a really good way. There are still improvements that need to be made. Key among them, the power play. The power play is toothless. I don't know, like, at this point, is it the coach's fault? Is it the players' fault? Because they just want to just pass the puck around, just knock the puck around for a little while. And the other team is just like, all right, cool, knock the puck around. You're not going to do anything with it, so we'll just keep in our formation while you do that. And that's really what happens for about a minute and a half. The puck gets cleared, the second unit comes in, causes chaos, and nothing happens. So is it the coaching staff? Is it the players? I don't know, but at this point, something needs to change with that power play. Otherwise, Karel Vejmelka is playing on his head at the moment. He's got the most wins of any goalie in the league, which is really cool to see. But he also is among the league leaders in games played. So, as far as goalies are concerned, obviously. So, 6 of one, half a dozen another, but it's still awesome to see. And then the best blue line in hockey this calendar year is on Utah, and it's the Schmidt-Marino line. So, it's a really good time right now. It's always more fun when your team wins, and that's kind of where we're sitting right now. But where is the team sitting as far as the standings go? Well, they're 3 points clear, being in the top spot of the wild card as of me recording this Sunday morning. So that's awesome to see as well. They are second in the Western Conference in home wins with 14, only second to the Colorado Avalanche. So the Colorado Avalanche are basically in a league of their own. I know they've lost their last two, but they're still basically in a league of their own. It's interesting to see how the team has kind of changed since Landeskog got hurt, but anywho, that's a different show. So the Mammoth currently sitting 54 points, 3 points clear of the Sharks, Ducks, Kings, and Kraken. They have a plus 18 goal differential, which is better than everybody in the Pacific and everybody not named Colorado or Dallas in the Western Conference. So the stats are all there. It's just for whatever reason, Utah has struggled to string stuff together until this homestand. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. Their next game isn't until Wednesday, so they get some rest finally. I don't think Utah's had this much rest in who knows how long other than the holiday break. So this is really good for the boys as well to get rested up before their final home game of this long homestand against Philly. And then, well, I'll talk about it here in a little bit. But it's really good to see this team starting to come together. And they're doing it all without arguably their best player in Logan Cooley. So when Logan Cooley comes back after the international break, the team should be off to the races. They really should be. I'm not going to say they're going to catch Minnesota or Dallas, but they should get a chokehold on the top wild card position. They really should. I'm just happy. Yeah, I don't know if that's coming through, but I'm just happy. It's really nice. It's really nice to see this. So there is some trade clarity out there now. It seems like Utah is out on Rasmus Anderson. Everybody's saying the trade with the Bruins is basically complete. Rasmus Anderson and Boston just need to come together for an extension, which is a bummer. I have been campaigning for Rasmus Anderson since before the season started. Utah needs a right-shotted defenseman. They really do. And that was the one I wanted. So it looks like Dougie Hamilton might be the target for Bill Armstrong. We'll see. Not as many teams are in on Dougie Hamilton because there's just a lot of drama going on between him and New Jersey, and a lot of teams are scared, rightfully so, scared off by drama. You don't want a drama king coming into your locker room and ruining what you might have there. So I know that the front office is going to do their due diligence on him to make sure he can slot into the team appropriately and not blow up anything. But it's just a bummer seeing that Utah is probably out on Rasmus Anderson unless Utah can swoop in at the 11th hour and offer Rasmus Anderson like a 5-year contract extension, the money he wants, and the prospects and picks that Calgary wants, which is entirely within the realm of possibility. Utah has that stuff. I just don't know if Bill Armstrong is going to be able to complete that deal in time. To give a standings update for the Flames, they currently sit at 46 points, 5 points back of both the third slot of the Pacific as well as the final wild card spot as well. So that's really where we're at as far as like major trade news for the Mammoth. Obviously, there was that letter that was sent out by Chris Drury, to the GM of the Rangers, to the fan base. During the Senators game, there was fire Drury chants. So this is Chris Drury's last gasp at saving his job. And I don't see them parting with all three of Panarin, Zibanejad, and Trocheck. I'm thinking it's going to be Panarin and Trocheck leaving. I don't see Zibanejad moving, but I would love to see him move to Utah. I'll still campaign for both Anderson and Zibanejad. Get them both in Utah in these colors here. But I don't think it'll happen. Like, if I were to give you a percentage of if it's going to happen or not, 10% at the best that Utah gets either of them, and then less than 1% that they get both. So that's where we're at for that trade clarity. And lastly here, the last big road trip before the Olympic break is coming up for the Mammoth after that game against the Flyers, where they travel to Nashville for a humongous game because the Predators have been on a heater as of late, 6-4-0 in their last 10. They are only 1 point out of a wild card position and only 4 points back of Utah. So that is a huge game for the Mammoth next week in Nashville, next Saturday. They only have 2 games next week. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week unless Bill Armstrong gets on the horn and starts getting some stuff done. But yeah, two games this coming week where it's the Flyers and the Predators, and then they have a back-to-back in Florida to play against the East-leading Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been on fuego, and then against the defending champs, the Panthers, in back-to-back on Monday and Tuesday. And then they wrap up the road trip against the second-place Eastern Conference team in Carolina. So not an easy road trip any way you slice it. And, you know, this is huge. And obviously, saying that is really dumb. Oh, these games are huge. Every game is huge when you're in wild card hunt. So this road trip is going to be key for Utah to get points in 3 of those 4 games. I'd like to see them get points in all of them, but I just don't see that happening. And that Nashville game, they need to win. They just need to win that game in Nashville. And then after that, it's a homestand where it's Dallas, Vancouver, and Detroit before the Olympic break. So the road ahead does not get any easier for any team in the NHL, let alone the Utah Mammoth. But let me know how you're feeling about Utah being out on Rasmus Anderson, reportedly. The 4 teams that are really around Rasmus right now are Boston, are the leaders in the clubhouse, Vegas, Detroit, and Toronto. But Toronto's always in a trade conversation, so I don't know if I really count them. But yeah, so that's where we're at with them. If there's a guy to move on Utah, let me know who you think that's going to be. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Tusks up.